Good morning, fam. This is Uju. All of you know, I'm sure, but if you're new to me and new to my social media pages, my name is Uju. Hi, I'm Uju, and I wanted to share some thoughts that I had this morning. It's super early. I just rolled out of bed. I just finished my water therapy and my meditation. I didn't even wash my face, so I might have some crust in my eye. You know what? Let me at least take my scarf off. Let me at least do that. Maybe at least do that. But I'm making this video because I had some thoughts that I wanted to share, and it's kind of too long to post like in the written post. I figured I'd just have a quick conversation with you all that are willing to watch. So, what I want to talk about is subtle resistance to our process of life. Everyone's life journey is their own individual process of evolution. So we're always in situations where we're learning and growing. So whether it's a good situation and we're like, oh, I learned that I like that, I'm going to keep doing that. Or whether it's a uncomfortable situation where we're like, I don't like that, I'm going to stay away from that. We're always in the process of learning. And as I've stated before, for those of you who keep up with me or keep who follow me, I've stated before that sometimes the process of life gets uncomfortable. A lot of the lessons that we learn come from uncomfortable situations, and we've been trained to equate uncomfortable situations with bad situations, but that's just not necessarily the case. And because of that association, we tend to resist our process of growth because we don't want to feel uncomfortable. Now, sometimes this resistance is more subtle uh, and appears in ways that are not really noticeable, that we don't consciously notice. And, I'll use myself for an example. Right now, I'm facing a really uncomfortable season. And no, I'm good. Don't worry about me. I'm good. It's just the uncomfortable period. But in my reflection during this uncomfortable period, I have these thoughts that I want to share. And it's really, really, really important. It's really important to understand this perspective so that we'll be able to use potential setbacks as stepping stones. When life hands you lemons, make chocolate cake. So my idea is that for those of you who are Christians, it says in the Bible, and Christians are taught to cast all your worries and your burdens onto God, to bring them to God because God will fight our battles. And that's very true. That's very true. But the question is, what exactly does it mean? How exactly do we do that? There are some areas in the Bible where it's stated, why are you worried? If I'm providing food for the simple sparrow, what makes you think that I won't provide for you? And that's very true. That speaks to the fact, not the idea, the fact that we are always supported. We are always supported. Everything is always in process for our enrichment, for our growth. Everything is always here to help us. Now, sometimes it's not comfortable, but it's always here to help us. When it doesn't help us or when it seems to be a setback, it's not because of the event or situation itself, it's because we are resistant to that. Okay? Now, in my situation right now, I'm going through an uncomfortable situation. And it's one of those situations where there's really not much I can do except sit and be still. I just have to sit and wait and have faith that everything is going to be good. And I think to myself, there were times when I would get into a space of worry, and my higher self would say, "What are you worried about? I got you." I read a book by Florence Scovel Shinn called The Game of Life and How to Play It, which is a really great book that I do recommend to everyone. But in the book, she mentioned exactly what it means when the Bible says, cast your battles or let God fight your battles. Okay? And what that means is when you're going through a troubling situation, to act from your higher self. So you get in tune with God on the level of mind. In your mind, in your thoughts, in your feelings, you tune in, you get in tune with God, and you allow God to order your steps. You allow God to order your thoughts, to influence your thoughts. You literally let go. That's what that means. It doesn't mean to go to church. And no, I'm not here to knock anyone. I'm not here for that. Okay. I'm just here to share this perspective. Okay. So it doesn't mean to go to church and kneel at the altar and cry and cry and cry, and then get up and go home and cry again about the situation because you're so worried and you're so stressed. Because that's not necessarily trusting God. It doesn't mean to go to someone else outside of you and ask for their well wishes and prayers and good thoughts, but then to come back and to still feel as if you need to be you need to defend yourself against a situation that's working against you, because that's not necessarily trusting God. That's not letting God fight our battles. What it really means is to be still, to be still, and to trust that everything is working for your benefit. Now, during this process, you might get inspired thoughts. Okay, like for me, I've gotten some inspired thoughts, and I've had the opportunity to speak with my life coach, and she shared some inspired advice that has inspired more thoughts for me. And although it's not really comfortable, it's not something that I'm used to, it's something that will help. And so I will be obedient because that's God speaking through her to me. That's God speaking to me in my thoughts. And it's not to sound crazy because God speaks to everyone. We are all linked to God. God is a part of our DNA. Okay? We are an expression of God. We are God in the body. So God is always talking with us. It's just a very subtle form of communication that some of us don't hear because we have to. We're too, this is what's going on. A whole bunch of crazy, and sometimes we just need to. Not sometimes, all the time. We just need to be still and quiet down so that we can hear what God has to say. We can hear the guidance. We can hear how God is ordering our steps. I really hope that this was a very raw thought, and I wanted to kind of get it out of my head and share it so that everyone can kind of get that idea as it's coming to me. So I really hope that I've articulated my thoughts in a way that communicates what I'm thinking to you, so that I really hope that you've received the message. Let go and let God. That means let go of our resistance. Let go of the knowledge, of the limited knowledge that we have, and trust in the infinite wisdom of God. Trust in the omnipotence of God. That's what it means. So even in the face of this uncomfortable time, my heart feels light. I still feel happy. I can still interact with some people and feel good about it. Like I don't feel weighed down. Now, yesterday, when the situation was very new, I'm not gonna lie, like my energy it was definitely a struggle for me to keep my vibrations high. It was, and I was in a space of worry, but I was able to kind of step back and chill for a second and have some conversations with people that could understand and could shed some light on a higher perspective, and I was able to chew on that, and I was able to find my peace in the center of this storm. So living a great life doesn't mean that you have no uncomfortable situations. It doesn't mean that. Living a great life means that in the face of uncomfortable situations, we are not moved. We're still gravy. That's what it really means, in my opinion, to be unbothered. So when God says, peace, be still, and cast all your fears and all your burdens onto me, and let go and let God and trust me and all of these things, that's what it means. It's really on the level of thought. It's really on the level of feeling. That's what it means. If we go through these actions in the physical world, and we're praying, and we're going to these spiritual meetings and everything, and I'm not knocking that. I think that's really wonderful. But what the most important part of those actions, or the gist of those actions, is to create a peaceful state of mind. Is to get yourself in a peaceful space. So if we're going to the prayer meetings, and we're going to church, and we're meeting with these people, and we're having these moments where we're able to share, I guess, the weights that we're carrying, but we don't leave it at the altar, we still pick it up and take it home with us in the form of worry, then it's counterproductive. It's not helping us. And that's still being resistant. I thought to myself yesterday, complaining is a form of resistance. It's not going with the flow. It's a form of resistance. Worry is a form of resistance. Okay? Acting out because of emotions, that's a form of resistance. And it's really, and I'm sharing this because these are things that everyone does. We all do it. We've been brought up in a society that promotes that, but it's not conducive to our personal growth. It's not conducive to creating the life that we love. And like I said, the life that we love doesn't necessarily mean a life where there's no uncomfortable situations. I'm not going to say problems. I'm going to say uncomfortable situations. That's not what it means. What it means is that in the face of a storm, in the face of uncomfortable situations, we, on the inside, here, we're good. Okay? Self-mastery through self-love. And also, another thing that I've noticed is, when we're in a sensitive space, it's important for us to be gentle. Like, I know for myself, I used to be very critical of myself. And that really, along the start of my self-love journey, that's something that I really had to address, because criticism is the easiest way for us to tear ourselves down, and we don't even know it. So during this time, it's okay to feel how we feel, but just be mindful of not being a slave to those feelings, not allowing those feelings to take you out of character or out of your personal space of peace, and just letting them come and go. Oh, and another thought that I had yesterday was about what we choose to entertain. So the feelings and the thoughts that we choose to entertain, to come into, and to tame, to hold on to. So the feelings that we allow to come into us and that we hold on to. Now, that's important, especially in the face of a difficult situation, because, I feel worried. The feeling of worry comes to me. The feeling of uncertainty comes to me. The feeling of fear comes to me. But I choose not to entertain it. Yeah, it comes to me, but it flows right out. It's literally in one ear and out the other, or in one side of my heart and out the other. I choose not to entertain it. I'm not going to allow it to enter me and stay there. I'm not holding on to it. So I let it go, and that is also a really, really important idea to think about when we're facing difficult situations, and we're looking for hope. We're looking for some comfort. We're looking for, some resolution. We have everything we need. Everything we need is already provided before we even ask for it. Before we even realize that we needed it, we have it. So it's just a matter of being able to tap into that, especially when times get hard. That's when it matters the most. Being able to tap into that resource, the infinite, the resource of infinite supply, our direct connection, our oneness with God. It's important to tap into it, especially during times when life isn't easy, so that we can still smile and we can still feel good and we can still trust that the best is yet to come. So yeah, I'm gonna go back to sleep. I was gonna go to the gym this morning, but I went to bed like, what time is it? I went to bed like 4.5 hours ago. So I'm going back to bed. But I just wanted to share these thoughts that came to me during my meditation. And I hope that it's helpful to someone. I hope that if those of you who are watching, thank you for watching. But if you're going through something that's uncomfortable, I really hope that it helps you find some peace in your storm. Your peace is at the center of your storm. If the scientists have studied that in a tornado, it's crazy on the outside of the tornado. It's like this. It's crazy, but in the center, it's perfectly still and it's perfectly peaceful. So I'm making this video to encourage those of you that are going through something to be still, and tune in. Tune out of your worry, tune out of what's going on around you, and tune into your center. And you will find the calm and the peace in the midst of your storm. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Carpe diem. Be blessed.